Oh, it's live. I'm staring here. Staring blankly at a screen. Moving on. Okay, let me refresh this. Make sure we've got audio and everything fun going. Oh, I have all the audio on this computer turned off. I can't tell. There we go. Oh, yep, there we go. Okay, we have audio. Let me mute that. And thanks, Joseph. No, I'm not recording for this one, but I thank you for the reminder, because if I were recording, I would have forgotten. And okay, so today this is a Smart Art Box, and this video is sponsored by Smart Art Box. They sent me this stuff, and any of the boxes sent to me for free, and any proceeds they would pay me directly for doing the video goes to Artists for Trauma. It's a really cool charity. Link should, if I did it right, it should be in the video description. You guys should definitely check that out. The products for this one, the Smart Art Box, if you're unfamiliar with it, what it is a monthly subscription box where every month you get a box full, I removed the lid of mine, of full-size art supplies. So going through this one, the first thing on this is this black. I thought it was a typo on the paper, and I lost my paper. Where did it go? My instructions. Oh, it's over there. I don't know. It's fine. This black paper from Fabriano. This one I'm actually excited to try. I was pretty happy when I opened this box because I've wanted to do some just white charcoal. Not into the white. The pastels are weird on my hands, but white charcoal. I wanted to do some sketches on black paper. So super excited about that stuff. We've got the Derwent. There are 6 of their metallic water-soluble pencils. I have no idea what to expect with these, but I'm pretty excited to try those. We've got, oh, that's a box of Q-tips for blending. Let's see. It came with an eraser and pencil sharpener set. That is from Derwent. And this one is the Royal Langnickel Essentials Pastel set. So these aren't going to be like the top quality pastels, but they're pastels. We'll use them. And just because you guys know I'm super neurotic with pastels, I also have a pack of wet wipes so I can wash my hands every time I start to freak out about pastels being on my hands. We're good. This also comes with, which I don't have in front of me, I don't know where it went, the cool thing with the Smart Art Box is it's not just dumping you with supplies. Here, figure out how to use these. It comes with an art history lesson. It goes over a brochure. Well, I should use words in an order people would understand and not word salad. But you get instructions on how to use these supplies. You get a history on whatever style you're going to be working in, and a detailed description of what all of these supplies are and how to best use them. And then on the back, it goes through step-by-step instructions on how to complete a project with them. I'm not using the project on this one, which is why I forgot to grab it, but would have been convenient for talking about this right now. But the instructions on this one, it was a figure drawing thing. I'm not doing figure drawings for this one. I thought on this paper, it'd be really fun to try some nighttime landscape. So that is what we are going to do today. And just as a reminder, if you do leave a question or have a question for me or want me to see your question, make sure you're doing the @Lachri Fine Art. If it doesn't highlight with orange, I will not see it. So it's not that I'm ignoring you, but you know, that's what happens. So looks like we're all okay. Hi, Gail. Yeah, I'm excited about that black paper too, Carlene. Hi, Miriam. Baby Panda said, did you have a good time with your parents? Did you kids get anything for did your kids get you anything for Mother's Day? Does dog poop? I mean, that's what they make me daily. That's about the extent of what my kids do for me. That's gross. Stop. No, we had a great time with my parents. My parents are fun. So yeah, it was good. And yeah, moving on. Camila said I was given a set of Rembrandt pastels. They're actually semi-soft. My gosh, so much less dust. Ooh, good to know. Yeah, in the pan pastels are my favorite. Like pan pastels, if I'm going to use pastels, it is hands down going to be pan pastels. So this is going to be cringeworthy for me. But first thing I want to do is test out these metallics, because this is the thing I was most excited for. I didn't open any of these so I could show you what the packaging looking like, but these I'm sure are not light fast. I didn't look into it, but most likely. And let's put those to the side. And I'm going to test this on white paper, which actually, let's test it first on, I hate to waste the black paper. It's so fancy, but I need to do a quick test on what I'm working on to see what these are going to be like. Okay. So let's see how much this shows up on black paper. That shows up a lot more than I would have thought. That's pretty blue. Let me make sure you're able to see this, because Yes. So that's fun. Whoa, these show up really well. I don't even have need for the pastels. I just need these. This is fun. I wish this had white, though. There is no white in this set. Whoa, that's bright yellow. I thought that would be more green. That is absolutely, like, super bright. Okay, let's see what happens when I smudge. If I smudge it with my finger, not much of anything. And then these are water soluble. So let me find a paintbrush here. And I'm going to be using this. I need to do a full review on it. It's dirty. I've been using it a lot. This is the Paint Puck. You can get these on Amazon. This, and just for transparency, they did give this to me to review. I just haven't done the full video, but I figured I can start telling you guys what I've been using. But this one is really cool. It's got this rubber stuff. You can't, whoa, at least if you push that off. It's got a rubbery thing at the bottom that you can kind of, I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't see that. But you can wash your brushes along the bottoms to keep it clean. And then with the rubbery bottom, it doesn't slide around on the table that I put it on, which is super nice. So that is what I'm using for cleaning my water, and I need to shove that back down so I don't break that seal again. Okay, so I just need something small to check with. This is actually one of my this one came from Smart Art Box, so I'm not totally cheating by using different supplies. I'm curious if this is going to go opaque when it dries or if it'll stay really translucent like this. The Inktense will go more opaque once it's dry. Ooh, those are kind of glittery. That's really pretty. We'll see what happens as that does dry. And speaking of Inktense, if you guys are members of Patreon, or if not, you can sign up so you can make it for this. I've got a live stream, a Patreon-only live stream coming this Saturday at 2 p.m. Central Time. We're going to be drawing a rose in Inktense. You could also use watercolor pencils or watercolor or acrylics and get pretty much the same results. Clarice, this is the Black by Fabriano. Royal Langnickel pastels are not light fast. Nothing by Royal, whatever their names are light fast. Those are, I would call them almost children's art supplies. Like they're the lowest end of stuff that you would find in an art supply store. So it's one of those, you can kind of play around with it to see if it's something you're interested in. But if you're going to try to produce something to sell, these are not the supplies I would use. The Fabriano is probably fine. I'm not sure on that. I've not researched. Okay, so these do dry fairly opaque. They're, I mean, not as light as it is with just the pencil, but good to know. Because I really don't know what I'm doing on this project. Let's see. Oh, I need to open the pastels too. Where did I put the pastels? I've got stuff all over the place. Carlene said, what subject will you be doing today? They will be, these are going to be nighttime landscapes. Renee said, at least my cats bring me leaves. Yeah, my dogs do not bring leaves. Gabriella said, besides the black paper, what black paper do you use for colored pencil? I typically, my favorite I would say right now is the Arches Hot Press watercolor paper. The Fabriano Artistico Hot Press watercolor paper is also fine for colored pencil. Really like the Canson papers. They're the Canson Metans I like, and the Canson illustration board I really, really like. I think there was something else I tried recently I liked too, and I can't think of the, Pastel mat is one of my favorite things in the world right now. Okay, so these pencils have the pencils themselves, and then you've got the blocks off to this. Oh, God, it just makes me cringe to think of touching pastel blocks. Ugh. I have issues. Okay. Oh, it's already touching me. Okay, let's see. Let's move some of this out of the way. I think I have to use these blocks, though, for, well, no, they don't have purple. I have to use the pencil. Purple and orange are the main colors I want to try in the background, and I don't know how well these will stand out, but let's kind of get my horizon here. Kind of have a sort of general reference photo I'm going for, just stuff off Pixabay, but I'm not trying to go exact on this. Like, that is not a concern of mine here. This is kind of hard, this set. Oh, God, touching pastels. Gross. This is a little bit hard because the colors are extremely limited here. So I'm going to have to, this hill is not straight. It's going to look like I did it wrong. Let's just make it straight. Ugh. And this isn't a good composition. If I were to actually do it like this, I'd probably like drop this out. I wouldn't go, cool. Don't use this as a good example for your composition. I'm just playing with the supplies to see what happens. I have no idea what these are going to look like when I blend. I've never tried these. Well, I've never tried the metallic pencils, and I've never tried pastels on, or this kind of pastel anyway, on black paper. So I don't even know how well this will blend out. I'm just going to scribble. I may hate this and start over. Luckily, the set came with tons of paper, so I can try a lot. One of the things that I want to do with the black paper, why I was saying before that I wanted to start doing a few things with that, or I was excited to get that because I wanted to use the white charcoal pencil. I like that look, like right now where it looks like a blackboard when we were kids. Well, some of you guys may not be old enough to remember blackboards, but when I was a kid, we had blackboards, not the whiteboards. So I like that look, and I wanted to create some artwork that looked like that. This may end up looking like a hot scribbly mess. I don't know. Let's find out. I should have titled this video Professional Artist Draws Like a 3-Year-Old, because that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. And then we've got green down here. I don't have a green besides this bright, like crazy bright green, which is not the color I wanted for this, but I don't know. Ugh, touching pastels, gross. Okay, I'm going to blend this. They said Q-tips in the instructions. You could use any, you can use a cotton ball, you can use whatever. I'm going to play around with my pan, because since I already have then the soft tools that I typically would use for pan pastels. Well, that neutralizes that way too much. Maybe not the best choice for blending. And now you see why I chose to do a night scene on this if I wanted to play with landscapes. I'm going to do a few of these, so this one's just kind of a, let's scribble, see what happens so I know what to expect, and then I'm going to try to do something good after this. Let's see. Ford Farm Studio said, you need vinyl gloves. No, I can't. It doesn't work. I hate gloves touching my hands. My hands feel all sweaty. They feel gross. There's more complaining involved. That doesn't work out for me either. Normal people, it probably would. Elaine said, it's best to wait. Is it best to wait to sell my art until I better perfect technique, or should I start selling so long as it's decent work? I'm a perfectionist, and that can be bad. Yeah, you could get to the point where you never sell because nothing's ever good enough to you. So, oh, okay, this green will work on the dark for what I wanted. But no, if people are willing to buy it, start selling. As soon as they're willing to buy, start selling. As long as you're using archival materials. And even if you tell the buyer like, oh, I didn't use light fast things, they don't know what that means. Let them, if you're going to do that, if you're using, like Prismacolor, that so many of them are not light fast, you need to let the buyer know, by the way, this may fade in a couple of years. But besides that, as long as you're using light fast materials or archival materials and people want to buy it, absolutely start selling now. Because like you seem to already know about yourself, you'll probably never feel you're good enough. No matter what stage you get at, you're going to want to get better and better and better. And, you can get to the point where you never sold anything because you were waiting until everything was absolutely perfect. But if somebody is interested in what you've created, yeah, start selling. Let them buy it. I may have to blend this with my fingers to get the result that I want. I don't like that. I don't know how when I was younger, like when I was a teenager, I used to work in pastels and charcoal all the time. My hands were filthy. I blended everything with my hands and it never bothered me. And as I got older, I started having issues. Diane said, so glad you're not just doing patches of color and doing a night scene. Yeah, I wanted to do, we'll see. Well, you say you're glad now. You just may be in for a good laugh by the time I'm done with this. Nate said, do you have any tips for drawing long cat fur and colored pencils? Break it like any fur or any hair. If it was a person, break it down into one small section at a time. Don't try, it's easy to go through the cat and be like, okay, I'm doing the hair like this everywhere. That's probably going to leave harsh lines there. Oh no, my masterpiece is ruined. You're going to pick a small section. Maybe it's a clump of fur like this. Watch how the fur clumps together. Like, here's a clump of fur. Maybe there's another clump of fur. I don't know. I don't have a picture of a cat. It doesn't look like a clump of fur. Look at your reference photo. Work in small sections at a time and watch the clumps of fur, how they clump and cluster together. Watch where the shadows and highlights are. It's really easy. Like, let's say you're drawing a fluffy white cat, to look at it and go, it's just a big blob of white. Well, now you drew a cartoon. Watch your shadows and highlights. Watch your values. That's what's going to make the biggest difference. Let's try the Q-tips. I'm curious to see, because if that works better, maybe I should grab some cotton balls. No, that lifts too much pigment too. Try with my fingers. Yeah, that's better. This feels not okay. It doesn't look good either. It doesn't look good enough to put myself through that. Ugh. Yuck. Okay, let's just smudge these out. So I think these pencils aren't the best for what I'm trying to do with that. I think I'm going to change the color I'm trying to do. That's not... Meh, let's just keep messing with it and see what I can make happen. Let's try with the metallics. Yes. We're going to put metallic in the sky. That'll look better. I'm not an expert on these. If you're watching this hoping that I will be able to tell you how to get the best results from that, I can't tell you that, but we can play around tonight and find out, if nothing else, what doesn't work. And I'm going to try going over this with water and see what happens, even though I have the pastels underneath. I don't have orange in these, so let's try, it's kind of a pinkish orange color for the bottom where it's fading up. One of the things that I like to do with art, it's really easy to get to a stage like this and go, meh, it's bad, start over. I was just tempted to do it myself right there. Play with it. Play with it a little bit more and see what you can do, because that's how you're going to learn faster what to or not to do, how to make something better. If I just go ahead and try to finish this, try to turn it into something halfway, instead of it looking like a 3-year-old drew it, my goal is to make it look like a 5-year-old drew it. Just, improve it a little bit. You're going to learn more from that than just throwing it out and starting over. The only time that I really recommend start throwing something up, like starting from scratch, is if it was something like you're doing a portrait or drawing an animal and you realize that your drawing is wrong. Then go ahead and start over. Ooh, this pencil sharpener is nice. I'm kind of liking that. The only thing is, on a pencil sharpener like this, there's no way I don't use a lot of erasers. So I don't see myself ever using that part, but I really like, or not often, I really like the sharpener side of it. At least on these pencils. Let's see. Scroll too far. Hold on. Wow, this really scrolled too far. Mona said, there's more complaining involved. Patty said, how about doing an Aurora Borealis scene on the black? That's actually one of the reference photos I got just to kind of see the movement of it. That is absolutely one of the things I'm going to try tonight. Renee said, sponges are good for blending, but obviously the effect was not what you had in mind. Yeah. Diane said, you're on a roll. We are, you are on a roll. Miriam said, Lisa, you mentioned finding good Instagram accounts for sea life, sometimes stay salty Florida, and yes, that is a lot of words shoved together, a letter shoved together, are some. And excellent to see the undertows of waves. That is not, I'm not reading that right. This writing is tiny. An excellent to see the this is not written right. I think your phone is auto-correcting you badly. I don't understand what that was saying. Blue Tier said, would you use a blending step for pastels to blend? You absolutely can. I used to. It's a little bit more stiff, but especially when you're doing details, you can. I used to a lot when I drew. I used to draw at orcas a lot with pastels and charcoals. KJ Pickett said, what is the most important aspect of your piece of art to you? For example, visual appeal, idea, meaning behind it, challenging your skill, market appeal. For me, visual appeal. I want to see good composition. I want to see good lighting, contrast, values. Those are what's most important to me. Composition, like I said, that's the sort of thing that matters to me. My art, I don't draw the kind of art that has a ton of meaning other than I want to draw something pretty. So meaning is, oh, that broke. These are brittle and it's stuck inside. Well, that's convenient. Hold on, I need to get a container for this. I mean, there's not a whole lot of meaning behind drawing a tiger other than pretty tiger, save the tigers. I mean, what I know people will try to draw meaning from stuff that, I don't know. It seems, how do you even empty this? I don't know how to, oh, no? There we go. Okay, figured it out. Genius. Me, not the design. Oh my gosh. That is really stuck in there. Okay, not super in love with the fact that because of the way this is set up, it's hard, like how you would get a pencil out of the sharpener. Maybe I wouldn't purchase this this sharpener. Because if already that's that difficult, if a lead breaks inside, which happens all the time, it should, because it's got this cap thing on it, I can't get under the side I really need to loosen that. I can get from the front, I can't get from the back, and that is really jammed in there. Wow, that is impressively stuck. Okay, not using that anymore tonight, and moral of that story, oh, and it's jammed, and that doesn't come out at all. That is like Derwent pencil stuck in a Derwent sharpener. I love Derwent, but sometimes you get a product that just isn't the most practical. Let's see if this will work. Oh, there we go, got it. Had to stab it with something else. It's kind of a weird design, because the way you have to put the lid in and turn it. No, that stays that way. Okay, wait, you don't turn it. There we go. I don't know. It's weird. Maybe I'm just dumb. So now I can sharpen it. Let's see if it breaks. I'll be a little bit more careful. I don't blame the sharpener for it breaking. That was on me, but it's just being lazy about it. But kind of a pain when it breaks. And is it breaking again? Okay, this is not the sharpener for me. I would not buy one of these. It's just too inconvenient when I can use my little metal. I like the little metal comb sharpeners. Easy to see how far my pencil is sharpened. This one was a little bit difficult because I'm in this dark red thing. I would use this for graphite. I would use this for something like this. These the pastel pencils and the, what are they? The Derwent. Oh, it wasn't the Derwent. I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. Okay, it was Pastel that I got blocked in it, which is typical when you sharpen pastels. So that's why I wasn't being careful enough. Wasn't paying attention to which one I was using. But they are very, very brittle. And on something like this, it's going to be hard you're going to constantly be trying to pull it out. If I keep blocking or keep breaking lead off, like if I use pastel pencils, if I'm going to sharpen it with a sharpener, I will almost always go with one of these little handheld metal ones because they break too easily. And if I'm not going to be careful and I'm rough with it, whatever, I'm constantly having to, unclog it. But if I can't get to it easily, like that one, not my favorite. I would use that for travel, maybe with graphite pencils because they're not real prone to breaking, but not something that's softer like Inktense pencils, watercolor pencils, these metallic ones. I would probably not use these as the sharpener for that guy. Kind of hard to give a review when you can't realize, when you're going quickly and not paying attention to what you're using. Okay, let's see what happens if I take a larger brush with water over those. Blue Tea Art said, okay, I answered that one. When am I going to do more painting live streams? That's what I do every Wednesday. I'm doing it. You mean like a specific type of painting? I'm not sure where you're going with that question. Vladimir said, I'm probably misreading whatever you're saying. Technically I'm painting because I'm using water with these if I could find my brush. I feel super unprepared for some reason tonight. Every Wednesday, I don't know what next Wednesday is. Right now I'm trying to get through some of these Smart Art Box ones. Maybe that's what you mean. I'm trying to get through some of the Smart Art Box ones because I'm so behind. And I've been waiting for my computer to get here, which is, I don't know if you can see them all. It's sitting behind me. I've got to set that up tonight. So the normal painting stuff should be coming back soon. And then painting like my own painting, not Smart Art Box live stream. I'm not sure. Maybe next week, maybe the week after, maybe, I don't know. I don't plan things. That would be responsible. I don't want to be responsible. I don't know how well these blend or if they reactivate. I don't know anything about these. Although I am kind of liking this metallic look a lot. That's fun. Maybe I wouldn't use it for something I was selling. I would use the metallic pencils, I think for me would be a fun one for sketchbook stuff. I wouldn't even use the metallic ones for something I was going to sell because you're not really going to see the metallic in photo like you would in person. I'm making a hot freaking mess here. I'll just scribble that in. So this is mixing in with the pastels on the first layer, and it's giving me a very chalky look that I probably wouldn't get as much with these pencils if I just used the metallic and not the pastels underneath. So that's not an indication of what that end result's going to be. We'll try that on another piece of paper. Like when I tried these, they're a little chalky, not to that extent. Okay, let's let that dry for a second. I'm going to answer a few more questions and then see if I can turn this into anything. Let's see. Vladimir said, what oil paint do you recommend? I've heard that you like the Grumbacher pre-tested oil paint. Still stand up to that. Yeah, I like Grumbacher. That one's probably one of my favorites. I like the Winsor & Newton just fine. The artist color I like better than the Winton color. Those ones, they're not like, I think the Grumbacher has a better texture or better consistency than the Winsor & Newton Winton artist colors, but both, I use them both. I like them both. There are other higher quality or higher end brands that get super expensive. I like the Winsor & Newton and the Grumbacher because they're fairly easy to find in most art supply stores, and that's why I generally go with them. And they're still light fast and such, so they work for me. Hello Shiny said, I challenge you to complain about the way pastels feel gross. I'll super chat you if you succeed. I challenge you not to complain about the way pastels feel. I'm telling you right now, I failed that. Absolutely failed. Miriam said, I see, look, I'm psychic now. Miriam said, I hope that was all right to share. Sorry if not. Oh, what did I not read? Miriam said, fine, share away with other accounts that you like. Ford's Farm Studio said, just forget the pastels and use the pencils. Yeah, I'm going to try. This is a mess. I'm going to make this into something. Give me a second. I'm going to make it happen. Okay, Nick said, I mean like acrylic and oil. I'm not sure. Hopefully soon. Those are two of my favorites, so hopefully soon. Phil said, if your artwork isn't the same size as your mat, how do you affix so the mat doesn't slide out of place? If it is not the same size as my mat, I cut my mats to the size that my artwork needs. So that's what I do. I don't there are ways that you can kind of center it on another piece of paper where you could put like a tape under or adhere it. There's different fixatives you can use. I would talk to a framer and get better advice than what I can give you because I don't really do that much. So it's not something I can give you a whole lot of advice, but I do know that you can mount, like dry mount or use a fixative to mount onto another piece of paper and then mat that. But what I typically do is just custom. I find it to be easier just to custom cut my mat to fit whatever image I need. My drawing looks like dark storm clouds on the horizon. If only, I do have white. Maybe I'll turn these into clouds. I've got to turn them into something because this is not working for me. I have an idea. I have an idea coming up here. You gave me an idea, Diane. Miriam said it was probably me, technology and me. That and it's tiny writing. I'm going to misunderstand all your guys' questions and be like, what are you talking about? And it's really that I'm reading it wrong. Yeah, I'm a pro. KJ Pickett said, apologies if you already answered in the past, but have you had experience working with galleries, art collectives, and other such things? I have not worked with a gallery in a while. I used to back when I was in California. They were, it was called Angels Galleria, and they really focused more, this paper's a little wet. I should let it dry. I'm not going to let it dry. They really focused more on, like beginner artists, new artists, that sort of thing. And they were great to work with. I forget what commission they took. I've worked with another gallery that took a 20 or 30% commission. I forget what they took. 20, 30, 50, they're all pretty, they're all reasonable commissions. They're all like fine. Who else? Those are the main ones. And then I've done like art shows where I sold the stuff. I'm just going to do this as a straight pastel on top of this. So those pencils I'm not liking. I'm not getting enough pigment with those. That's mainly what I've worked with. The Angels Galleria was a small one in the Pomona Art Colony back in the late 90s, early 2000s, mostly the late 90s, before they went out of business. Maybe they shouldn't have just been working with beginner artists, huh? I think that area was just hard to sell stuff in. Let's see what happens when I can just blend with this guy now. So that was fun. They used to have art walks and such. That was a really fun thing to be a part of. So if you can get in with a gallery, that's great, but it's hard to get in depending on the style you're working in. A lot of the galleries, like locally that I've gone to, they want abstract. They're not really looking for realism or photorealism so much. Not because they're mean and they hate that style, because that's just what sells in person. It seems to be easier for most of these galleries to move the abstract stuff. So my work isn't really a fit for most of them. I have had better luck, for the most part anyway, selling online. I wonder how these will mix if I want purple, if I put red on it. Let's find out. It's a little purpley. You can kind of mix it on there. Like I said, just playing with this because I've never worked on this paper with these pastels. I really don't super know what to expect. Let's throw some green back in here. It's kind of grassy, but it's hard to control something this large. Let's blend that a bit. Oh, I should wipe that off. Blending all my colors together. Kind of like that rough look though. Like I was saying before, I've been in this hole wanting to create artwork that looked like something drawn realistically, but on a blackboard. That's not what's happening here. This is just a mess. But a fun mess. If you can handle the feel of the dryness of charcoals on your hands or pastels, they are fun to play with. And they're very fun to blend. And you can do things really, really quickly. It's just a personal thing with me that they freak me out. Let's make it look like some trees kind of back there. Little lazy trees. So I don't know if I'm going to make it to where it looks like a 5-year-old did it. I think I'm still at the 3-year-old level with these. But at least I'm finishing something. And then we can try a new one. I'm going to try let's see, the Northern Lights look. Let that fade out. Not on this one. Let's throw stars in there. Oh, that shows up pretty well. When you do stars, you have to watch, like right now, I have polka dots. You don't want polka dots and stars. You want to do clumps and clusters of them where they group together. It'll give you a more natural feel. It's one of the reasons that I like to flick paint onto my canvases when I'm painting stars. Oil, acrylic, watercolor, pencil, Inktense, everything. I will flick the paint to get that look. It comes out more natural. Otherwise, I have a tendency just to look like random polka dots. Like that. I'm going to make that stand out even more up here. Okay, so that's a mess. Let's try again. Good enough. I'm calling it. I mean, maybe it's up to 5-year-old level. Probably more 3. We're going to wipe my hands off first before I switch the paper over so I can have a little break from the cringe. So much better. Okay. Let's see. Whoops. Well, I'm missing a lot of questions. Give me a second. Let me scroll back up. Here we go. Carlene said, I thought the layers were completely gone. My jaw dropped. I feel relieved when it dried out. If I'm the one doing that, I might freak out. Well, the thing is, when you're going to play with something like this, and especially if you don't know what's going to happen, don't put pressure on yourself to make it look good. I don't care if this looks good tonight. I'm having fun. I'm experimenting. And that's what I like so much about the Smart Art boxes. You're just experimenting with things. I don't get these to try to make the most amazing art ever. I get these because I think it's fun to try something I'm not used to playing with, even if it's pastels that I hate the feel of. This was fun. I'm a little bit cringy from the feel of them, but it's still fun. And it's still just kind of a cool little quick thing to do. And I would say that no matter what medium you're doing, if it's something that you're not used to working in, do not put a ton of pressure on yourself to make things look good. If it starts looking bad, ideally keep working on it until it starts coming together. Don't give up and say, it's terrible, I'm going to start over. You just don't progress. If it looks bad, keep working on it until it looks like, a 5-year-old instead of a 3-year-old did it. Give yourself a goal, which was my goal. I wasn't trying to make it amazing, but give yourself just enough to get a better feel for it. I now know what doesn't work, that's for sure. And that's as important as knowing what does work. So let's go ahead and put a new piece up here. And yeah, this paper is way too smooth for pastels. It wouldn't be my first choice. I mean, when I used to do pastels and it was like more chalk than pastel, but that and the charcoals, I worked on paper this smooth. So it can be done. It wouldn't be my first choice, but it's easy to blend, that's for sure. But this is the type of paper I want to use for the white on black artwork that you will see videos of me doing soon. Okay, let's move that out of the way. I'm just going to reuse the back of this one. No reason to waste another piece of paper. Plus I'm trying to keep some of that paper for the white charcoal to do in the future. Camila said, have you used oil pastels or oil bars and sticks? I used to use oil pastels a lot when I was younger. Those I liked better, and those you can blend out with odorless mineral spirits, which is kind of cool. Just stick to this. This isn't going to be straight at all. Whatever. Those were pretty cool. I did like those. Oil pastels never really dry all the way, which is kind of weird to me. So like you have to make sure to put it in a frame and they smudge. And a lot of the supplies that I used to use when I was younger, the reason that I stopped charcoal is I stopped for this reason. And any pastels like that, and then the oil pastels, I stopped using those because I couldn't afford to buy frames. And the only real way to protect them, even when you spray them, is to put them in some sort of a frame, or behind glass to really protect them. And I just didn't have the money back then to do that. And so that's really why I kind of moved away from drawing with them so much. I was definitely doing the starving artist thing for a very long time. So I liked acrylics because I could just paint the edge of the canvas and it could even be hung in a gallery that way. So financially, they were just a fit for me, and that's where I ended up moving more towards that to draw with them back when I first started. But there we go. Yeah, the oil pastels I did really like when I used to use them. They were fun to paint with. Diane said, do you make your own frames? I just got a mat cutter and love it. Also cutting UV plexiglass. No, I don't make my own frames, just the mats. And the mats, if I can buy a pre-made mat the size I want, I always go that route. It's just so much easier. But sometimes I'll draw something and it's like an inch too short one way or another, and then I'm going to cut my own mat. But no, I've not tried making my own frame. That's impressive if you do. Foz Art, Painting, Drawing, and Gunpowder Tutorials, that is a long name, said, is there a big difference between the way paint behaves between Liquitex and Goldens? The main difference that I found, and it's really more between Liquitex Basics and Goldens. Liquitex Basics is going to have a more flat finish or a matte finish. It's way easier to photograph. And then when you can put the gloss finish on top of it to bring the shine back to it. But the way that I layer, the way that I use a charcoal pencil, that matte finish is a really big deal for me. Goldens has a higher gloss to it. And so the white charcoal pencil doesn't stick as well. And they look like there's a varnish on them from beginning to end. So that's kind of the biggest difference that I noticed between them. But as far as like Liquitex soft body versus Goldens, they're similar. I would say I like Goldens better. If I didn't care about it being shiny, that'd probably be my choice. I just like the texture of Goldens. They're really nice paints. Miriam said, I shared them above. Okay, yeah, I got that. Airbrush with travel. Airbrush with travel. I'm never going to get that right. I always read that as airbrush. Said Lisa, you made some comments. Anyway, you missed some comments. Oh, I'm sorry. And it scrolls, the way that scrolls, I apologize. I don't do it on purpose. I suggested you need to use pastel pencils more like colored pencil, work smaller and with more pigment. That should blend better. Yeah, I definitely know you're right. I don't like this medium. I'm not putting that kind of time into this. But no, you are absolutely right. If you want to do pastels well, you are going to use them very similar to how I work in small sections with colored pencil. Watch Jason Morgan. If you really are interested in pastels and you want to be good at them, watch Jason Morgan. He has amazing videos, super realistic, and he's going to do like he's going to put the time in I'm not willing to do because I'm cringing the whole time I'm sitting here because it touched me. God, I'm neurotic. As I say these things, I'm like, I do not sound like a sane person. This is my only thing I'm that way with. But anyway, check out Jason Morgan if you want to get really good with pastels. Him, and I even think Will Stoller, Unmasked Art here on YouTube, he does some pastels that are really good too. I think I've been seeing more and more from him. Aurora, I don't know how to say that. I just learned about you yesterday. Would an amazing artist like yourself have advice for a self-taught artist learning light form to, I have no idea what that, I can't read that. I have got to fix the font on this computer. It is way too small. I am a self-taught artist as well. And my biggest advice for you, no matter what it is you want to learn, is to just keep practicing. Just jump in. It doesn't matter if you paint and draw something. Here's what I'm looking for. If you paint and draw something and it comes out absolutely terrible, absolutely, it doesn't matter. That's how you're going to learn. So my biggest piece of advice for you is paint and draw more. And then when you start to feel like you're getting it, paint and draw even more, and then more and more. And it doesn't matter if what you paint, I'm going to try this. It's a similar concept, but just with the pastels. It doesn't matter if what you paint is good. And it's not even like a real indication of whether or not you'll be good. That's just part of the process, is painting and drawing more. find artists who are creating work that you like, that you're like, okay, I want to learn that technique. Watch how they're doing it and then go to try to do it yourself. But the only way you're really going to learn is to spend more time painting and drawing. The more you paint and draw, the faster you're going to learn. And it doesn't matter what style, what technique, what anything. It's all about the amount of time you're spending at that easel, and find other artists who are creating something that is similar to what you're interested in. That really will make a big difference. Stay away from beginner tutorials as much as you can. I mean, beginner tutorials are great to get you started. You don't ever, and this is for anybody, don't stick with beginner tutorials. I see all the time where people are like, oh, that's too hard. I can't do this drawing. I can't do this style. I can't follow this teacher. It's too difficult. I need something beginner. You stick with beginner stuff and you are forever a beginner. That's what you're not going to progress if you stick with things for beginners. And I'm not necessarily talking, I mean, Auroria? I am butchering your name and I apologize. I'm terrible. But anyway, anybody who's starting, I just see this a lot where they want to start with the things for the beginners. Like, I need to start with the basics. I mean, basics are good, but if you follow something that is far more advanced than where you are, you're going to learn a lot faster. It really is that simple. I'll use this as an example. When I first started painting and drawing, I was kind of basing my work. I wanted it to look similar. I was doing underwater scenes and I really liked Christian Lassen's work, but I was like, is this too hard? I'm going to go with something that seems more easy. And my work, and I found an artist who was more basic. I mean, you could tell it was a whale and a dolphin. Was not at all anatomically correct. So that wasn't kind of a thing, but you could tell what it was. And so I was painting, looking at his stuff, thinking this looks easier. I'm going to paint like this guy. And whatever you're painting, it's probably not going to be as good as what you're copying. So if I'm copying someone who's mediocre, my work is far less than that. If I copy Christian Lassen's, and that's what I had to start doing, like trying to do things realistic like his. I'm not saying copy him, but do stuff that was super realistic like what he was doing. While my work wasn't as good as his, it was far above the mediocre artist that I thought was, better for me being a beginner. My artwork, my technique, my style, everything jumped in skill level so much just because I pushed myself harder. Don't stay with things that you think are fitted for beginners. Jump into the hard stuff. Jump into more advanced. You're going to, it's not going to look just like the advanced artist, but it's going to look a heck of a lot better than if you were doing a beginner tutorial. So that's probably my biggest piece of advice there. Ooh, that is dry and hard as a rock on one side. That's not good. Quality supplies there with that Royal Langnickel, whatever their name is. Let's see. A brush with travel said, I also suspect the paper is too smooth. Pastels need more tooth, otherwise blending just remove. Yeah, exactly. It just removes the pigment. It moves it around. Yes, you are absolutely right. This is not the best paper for this. KJ, I think it's good paper for the pencils, and we're going to try those more. But for this, not so much. I had a blending tool. Oh, I think I'm just going to have to use my fingers again. I'm going to push a little bit harder with these so the pigment sticks more. And this is still going to knock a lot off, but because I pushed harder, more is going to stick to the paper. Oh, my years of working in pastels. Now I'm getting that blending that I'm looking for. I was not pushing hard enough with my pastels, so I wasn't getting enough pigment on there to account for how much was about to be knocked off the paper. Oh, that doesn't work. I just got that brush wet. I forgot that spot was wet. Hold on. Need a new way to blend. That's pulling even more off. Let's do another layer like this. Oh, at least I'm getting that smoother blending. But yeah, I think I'm going to have to blend the next one with my fingers. So I'm going to push a little bit harder. Whoops, really get that on there. This is so crumbly. Oh. That's that hard side. Again, quality materials. I just don't like that brand, Royal Langnickel. Like, some of their brushes I do like, but some of their other stuff is just not my favorite. This is one of my problems with pastels. I've always gotten the best results blending with my hands, and I don't want to get my hands dirty. I'm weird. Let me be weird, pastels. Let's give it a little tree. The reference photo I'm using has a little tree. But I can't put in shadows because I only have one shade of green. I guess I can use black. Wouldn't be my first choice, but whatever. It's what I have. Give him a little tree trunk with no highlights because, yeah. I don't like this tree. We're getting rid of him. Let's see if I can blend it out as much as... I guess that works. Wow, black on that side. It's okay. I can fix it. One of the most important lessons you're going to learn as an artist is how to fix mistakes, like that one. Because what I just did, sometimes it happens. Do you know in the medium you're using how to fix that? So when you have something go wrong, don't panic and go, oh my God, I just ruined it. It's never going to be the same. Go over it. Figure out how to fix it. That's going to be such a huge lesson for you, because there will be times you're doing a commission and you get halfway through and either a kid comes by and smudges something, you drop it, you change your mind like I did, you grab something that's wet that you thought was dry and it does not good things. You want to learn how to fix mistakes. So don't freak out when something goes wrong. It's like, okay, I'm about to figure out, I'm going to learn a lesson now. Let's see how to fix this problem. It's going to do you way more good than if you just freak out and throw it away. Figure out how to fix it. Now, sometimes things do go wrong that are bad enough that you can't really fix, but you still want to make the effort. I mean, it's kind of a landscape. Really feeling limited on these colors. That's certainly not making things easier for my... This set is weird because it gives you your primary colors, then black, white, and fluorescent green, and then the pencils have orange and stuff. It's kind of a weird set. Oh, that one's kind of fun. I'm not unhappy with how that looks. Let's go ahead and clean my hands off before I have a meltdown and try something else. That one so far, definitely my favorite. I think that's a huge upgrade from the first one. Oh, I mean, the first one's okay. No, it's not. There's the first one. Yeah, I like that one way better. Okay, let's try some Northern Lights, I think was one of my plans. Scroll through where my image is. Or my computer can freeze. It's my old computer I'm using for my reference photos. Shocker, it froze. That never happens. Ooh, there's a nighttime scene with Cactus. Let's try that first. This is the other thing that I'm loving with this sort of thing when you have, and I always prefer when Smart Art Box has where you get like a whole pad of paper or a bunch of canvases to play with. So you can just experiment and not be like, I just wasted my only canvas it came from. I can just try a whole bunch of stuff. This one's pretty. I like that. When I was a kid, I so would have put that on my wall. That, for those of you who don't know, that's actually one of the things that really got me into painting and drawing a lot. Growing up, my family did not have much money. I mean, we had food, we had a roof over our head. But like my friends had all these cool posters on their walls, like sharks and tigers and stuff. I remember my friend getting a new tiger poster. I was so jealous. I don't know how old we were, 8, 9, I don't know. I was super jealous. My walls were just plain white. Now, I'm grateful I had walls. So, you know, I did not sound super ungrateful, but I didn't have the fun stuff that my friends had, but my mom had always would have paper around her. We'd have the paper bags that I could draw on. And that's where I would just get like cheap chalks. That's what I started with. Well, I started drawing. I guess there's more than that. I started drawing and coloring a lot when I was younger because I was sick all the time. But what got me to move from just coloring in a coloring book because I was bored to let's try to make something look good was my jealousy that my friends had cool stuff on their walls. And I hated, to this day, I hate plain white walls. Hate them. So I started drawing things and I lined, it looked like tiles. My walls were covered with birds were the main thing I was drawing. I had a book on birds that I would just try to copy those, make them look as realistically as possible, and started copying those when I was a kid. And I just filled my walls with them. But charcoal was the main thing, charcoals and chalk, because they were cheap. That's what my mom would get me. And she let me cover my walls with them. So now I had cool drawings on there, but it really motivated me to want to draw things more and more realistically, so that it looked like what it was supposed to as it hung on my walls. See, being broke as a kid is not all bad. You learn to do things for yourself. Okay. Let's see if I can get caught up on a few questions here. KJ Pickett said, thanks for answering. I was asking about galleries because I was thinking of applying to a local art collective gallery that seems pretty active in the community. Yeah, definitely. I would absolutely apply. What's the worst they're going to say? No, come back later and try again. And if it works out, you may start selling your work. Well, so I would definitely try. Miriam said, brought out my Inktense tonight. Nice. I can't wait for Saturday. I'm really looking forward to drawing that rose. Cannot wait. Okay. Rachel said, any tips for someone wanting to make prints of their artwork, but not sure where to even start? Well, it depends on what kind of prints. If you just need like postcards or business cards, Vistaprint is pretty good. They're pretty inexpensive. If you want Giclées, which are the really nice prints, and I was happy with the prices for Giclée Today. You can go gicletoday.com, I think. But if you just do a Google search for them, they'll come up. That one I really liked. And I'm not sure on other prints. Well, one thing you can do, too, if you don't want to put a lot of money out to begin with, you can do a print-on-demand service like Fine Art America, which is what I also use. So, like, let's say you wanted to buy one of my flamingo prints. You go through them. It's on my website, but you buy it and you pay them. Everything's through them. You do a return, it's through them. If you didn't like something about it or whatever, everything, it gets damaged. It's all through them, which means I don't have to do much work other than upload a high-quality, high-resolution image for them to print on whatever. And it can be any size, so it's not like I have to figure out what sizes someone might want to buy, figure out how many I need that I'm going to sell like I did with the Giclées. They just print them as they sell. So I'm not going to make as much money doing that, but I don't have as much work involved. I just upload the image and it's done. Now, with those, you still have to send people to your Fine Art America shop. They're not going to just come across it and buy stuff. You have to tell people about it and market it yourself. But that works out real well for me. Oh, cool. Renee said Pomona's second Saturday art is still a thing. I live in Pomona. I used to work at Pomona Valley Veterinary Hospital with Dr. Khan. He was the first animal hospital I worked at. But yeah, that was because I was working out there. It used to be Angel's Gallery. I know they're not there, but that was so fun. That's cool. Let's see who's next. Nick said, ooh, what are those boxes behind you? New tech? Yes, they are my MSI Trident. It's an i9 something or another. All the numbers that I don't know what they mean. Dell, I think that one's a 2K monitor and a new keyboard. And I get to set them up when the live stream is over. So, I'm going to be trying to cut this thing off early tonight. I'm really looking forward to that. And now I can start editing videos again, which is super exciting because, yeah. Let's see. Melanie said, happy little trees. Yeah, till I cut it down. Whoops. That really scrolled too far. 1 second. My gosh, I don't even know how much I missed. Wow, I'm missing so much here. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to take a minute and answer these. I'm just going to set this here so we have something that you can kind of see that I was working on. Let's see if I can get caught up. There are a ton of questions I've missed here right now. Oh, Diane said definitely 5+. I like it. Yes, my 5-year-old as your muse said, I kind of like it. Diane said absolutely fun. And for me, the fun thing is just experimenting and not having pressure. Because that's the thing. I mean, when I'm painting and drawing my normal stuff, there's that bit of pressure. As much as I enjoy it, there's always that pressure, like, it has to be perfect. Everything needs to be perfect. With this, I'm just having fun. I'm just making a mess. I'm just experimenting. And then if this was something that I really enjoyed, I would take what I learned tonight and apply that to something I was going to take more time planning and making sure everything looked good. I'm on something these nights. That's what I still like, because I've thought before, I'm like, I don't really have time. I'm behind the Smart Art Box. Should I just tell them I can't keep making the videos for it? But it's one of the things that I actually do enjoy. So I hate to kind of flake on, I don't want to lose that fun of just experimenting with stuff. Let's see. Hello, Shiny said, hey, Lisa, good idea for you do your next art box with black paper box. I can't talk. Do a cafe or pub blackboard style illustration like you do a croissant or burger or something. Or oil pastel. That would work. Lutiara said, what type of tape do you use? This one, I actually got this one on Amazon. This one is just as Artist Tape or Artist Tape Pro. I'm not sure which. Type in black masking tape, and you want to get one for an artist that's going to be so that it's acid free. Let's see. And they're not going to be as high tack, so it's not ripping the paper like I would if this paper would probably rip with a higher tack masking tape. Would rough watercolor paper suit pastels? You could do it. You're going to get different effects that way. It's going to be kind of bumpy. I like, with pastels, I prefer like sandpaper, not sandpaper, sanded paper. Pastel matte would be perfect. Something along those lines would be my first choice. What are my favorite papers for graphite? Graphite I'm not picky on. Graphite, I still like Fabriano Artistico is just fine. I like Arches, but I'm not going to waste my Arches because that's really expensive when I'm not picky about the paper. I do not like Bristol Vellum. It's too smooth. I don't like anything too smooth, but like a hot press watercolor paper, any of those I love for graphite. Who else is good for graphite? Stonehenge works fine for graphite as well. Carlene said, I knew your first artwork would turn out good. That was quick, and I know it's not easy with challenges and the art supplies you're using. It's really the talent and resourcefulness. Amazing. Thank you. Hello, I can't say stuff. Shiny said, could you draw something with gluten in it that you can't eat but would like to? Well, I mean, those could have been wheat fields. Well, those are more green. They're more grassy fields. I could if I had a reference, but I don't have anything in front of me of any kind of food. So that's not going to happen, unfortunately. I had Northern Lights, and I know I saved them, and they're not on here. So, you know what? Let's just pull something up on my phone for me to look at. 1 second. I just need to see the movement. I don't want to copy something exactly, so I don't care. Like, I'm not going to go through the trouble of finding something that's royalty free because nothing I do is going to look anything like the picture I'm using it. I just want to see the movement of them. Now, these all look like the one I had the rights to use. So let's see what works. This looks like fun. Let's try this. Something like this. I don't know. That's not at all what it looks like. But I'm going to play with just the blending aspect of things. A little bit of green on the bottom here. This would not... I would rather go with like a phthalo green. Seems to be more the natural. And then it goes up into the pink. So I'm going to try to get the blue and blend that with red and see what happens. This may be something I turn around and draw over again on the back, which I'm pretty sure is what is about to happen. I'm going to put some black over the black just so it blends into it smoothly. I probably need... to push a little bit darker with these. That doesn't look like Northern Lights at all. I need to find better photos to go by. Yeah, no, that didn't work. Failed attempt. I bet I can turn it into something. Let me find a different photo and I'll turn it into something else. My drawing is just... some of these other ones have way better shapes. Oh, I like this. Okay. I'm going to see if I can make this work. And here's one that is red and green. Maybe I can just kind of go by that. This is more like ones I used to draw years ago. I used to paint them actually quite a bit. I don't think I have any photos of the ones I used to paint like this. This black is like more gray when it's up against the paper. It's really a dull black. It is not impressive. It's about as impressive as my Northern Lights drawing here, which is not impressive at all. This may be one that I say screw it and start over on the back. This one is super... it keeps scraping. Can you hear that scrape? It's like hard as a rock on some of these sides. The other sides are really soft. These colors are making it... you know what? I want to do this with a metallic pen. No. I don't know if I'm fixing this. This is like... this is painfully bad. What do I want to do? Let's stick with my own make it work theory. Let's see if I can turn this into a... I'm going to change it. It's not going to be one of those scenes anymore. We're going to completely see if I can just turn it into like a sunset. Because that is pretty much the mud I've made. have an idea. Let's see if I can turn this into something completely different. Not even close to what my original plan was. I think I can make it happen. Again, my goal is 5-year-old drawing versus the current 2-year-old piece. Oh my gosh, these things are crappy. They keep getting these hard areas and they're not soft. They're soft. These should be soft. And the yellow one now, this is the first time I've really used the yellow. It's got these hard bits in it. It's scraping, not applying pigment. This is absolute crap. Oh my gosh, do not buy these Royal Langnickel. I can make them. Where's my sandpaper? It's probably not out. See how, color's not coming off. It's just scraping. It's not. I need sandpaper if I could scrape it across that, but I don't have any over here to make that happen. Holy crap, this one is really bad. Well, yellow's out. There we go. Okay, so I have kind of a nighttime scene, a little bit limited by that yellow issue. Let's see if I can pull some back out. Maybe on the end. You are a crappy, crappy company. Talking about Royal Langnickel, not Smart Art Box. This is just, I know I wouldn't buy that. I really out of this set, if I were going to buy anything, I'm liking this paper a lot. If I were going to buy more, I would buy the Faber-Castell black and black paper. I do like this. And I like the metallic pencils are pretty cool. But these pastels are just crap. Yeah. So, good news. I know not to put money into those pastels. Let me wipe my fingers up a bit, get some questions answered while I'm working on this. Can I draw a house with pastel? Could. I don't have any reference photos, so I'm not going to do that right now, but you probably could. Elaine said, I'm going to try my first color pencil drawing, a fox, but I don't have any idea what colors to start with. Do you have any color broad suggestions to play with? It depends on the lighting of the fox. Even if it was broad daylight, it's going to be different than nighttime, but generally I would say raw sienna, burnt sienna, any of those colors, and I would use magentas and purples for the shadows. I'm not sure if that helps. On the red, don't just jump to, this part of the fox is dark, so automatically that means black. Try with your shadows first with magentas, because that's kind of if it's a red fox, they're going to have those orangey colors, and if ever I'm using orange, I'm going to use magenta and purples for a lot of the shadows. So those are good colors to start with. Diane said, I tried pastels and found it so difficult, but mostly not fun. I will keep trying, though. It depends on the pastel, and it depends on if it bothers you, the feel of it. With me, having the baby wipe next to me is really helping. And this is a moisturizing one, so it's even better. My hands don't feel dry. When it starts to get too cringy, I can just clean that up. So that's a bonus. I don't like the mess. I don't like the mess it's making of my easel right now, so I'll have to clean that up later. That was the other thing that I really didn't like about pastels. I like things to be clean as much as possible. And they are not. They are very messy. Let's see. Miriam said, have you painted acrylics on black canvas? How do you keep the dust off them? It seems dust shows up more no matter how much dust. I'm not sure. When I paint in acrylics on black canvas, and I'm covering the black completely. You don't see any of the black. So it would be the same for me as any other one. It's just that I'm starting with a dark base, but that's just because I'm going to paint a dark painting. I wouldn't go out normally and buy a black canvas. I just get the white, normal white, and then paint it whatever color I want. But I do have some pads of paper of the canvas pads from Frederick's that are black that I've used. And with those, I'm still painting over everything, so I've not had dust. I've not experienced dust or anything sticking to it any more than I would just a normal black canvas. So I don't really have anything to add there. I'm not sure why. But it may just be that I put so much paint on mine that it's not black anymore. One SGWW said, I had my final critique for painting 2 today. I'm actually still here. When asked who my favorite artist was, I explained Lisa, and I got rave reviews. Thank you for all your help. That is awesome. That's so cool to hear. Congratulations. Miriam said, that's why I watch you, Lisa, the challenge of your sea life and wildlife. Well, I've got some more sea life and wildlife coming up for you, so I will definitely be challenging you. Auroria said, that's incredible, thank you. It's mostly working with light from and from bringing everything out in 3D. I like the master artist Johannes Vermeer. Yes, oh, he's amazing. Yes. Just keep practicing whatever style you want, and practice in that style definitely helps too. Miriam said, can makeup brushes blend it out? You can, but in this case, it's going to largely, like I could use it with this. It'll knock. You can see how that one brush, it just knocks the product off the paper. So it's really not going to do a whole lot there. That works out fine because what I'm planning to do. So you can, but it's probably not going to give you the result that you want. And that was with a really soft blush brush. Not on this paper anyway. If you were using another paper, you can get away with it a little bit more, but it just doesn't stick well. Ugh, this is the worst freaking, maybe if I break it and then use the inside. Let's see if that's any better. At least I'm getting killer. Yeah, that worked. It's so funny, the difference between like high quality artist grade materials versus this is like beginners, kids. I would say kids. They don't market it as that it's for kids. That pastel thing, I would hands down say is just for kids. But the difference between like a good pastel and then one for children is huge. So if you tried these and you're like, no, these would give you a good feel if you played with them and you're like, wow, I really like the blending, or that you didn't mind, to get an idea if the chalky feel that you hear people talk about, if that bothers you or not. But after that, I would definitely get some better pastels. Ford Farm Studio said, plan your computer freezing when you already have your reference photo selected at full size. Everyone, live and subscribe to, yes, please. If you have not already, please subscribe. I am definitely, actually Patreon numbers have hurt the most from not producing normal videos because I don't tell people about it enough without my normal edited videos, but I can't edit the videos. So that's all been a challenge. So also for Patreon, subscribe here. These ones are obviously always free. Also, if you can head over to Patreon, patreon.com/Lachri, and sign up there. You get my longer tutorials that there's over 150 of them there for you now to watch in all kinds of mediums. If you go over to my website, lachri.com, there's a button, and actually it should be in the link in the video description. If it's not, just go to lachri.com, and I have a video library, so you can get an idea of what all is there. You also would get access to my free 2-hour-long Margay colored pencil, just to see if Patreon is something you're interested in. So just for heading over there to check it out, you get that for free. Let's see. Diane said, this was very pretty. I missed how you made the texture on the grassy hills. Had to attend the needs of my poopers. You know what? I'll throw some grassy hills on this one. And I was going to do something else, but grassy hills works. We'll do grassy hills so you can watch that one again. It's not like I care what these come. I mean, obviously, I'm just playing and making a mess with these. Where did we go? Oh, thanks, Christine. Christine gave me a super chat. I appreciate that. Baby Pandas want to know what tape I'm using. It is Black Artist Masking Tape. If you just type that in on Amazon, it should come up. So it's acid-free, which is a pretty cool thing. Leslie said, I love the review you did of Derwent watercolor pencils so much I'm now waiting for my box set to arrive. You are going to have so much fun. Derwent sent me that set, and I held on to it for a year, 9 months. It was a long time I had that in my set, and I never got them out because I'm like, watercolor, and super excited. First time I tried them, they were so much fun. Now I want all the watercolor pencils. Love those. I'm glad to hear you're going to have fun. Christy said, doesn't Rel Langwood ever have very fancy boxes or containers? Always made me think they were high quality. Yeah, I kind of like, it came with a little tin. I wish they would put the money into the supplies instead of their tins. Ford's Farm Studio said, is Fine Art America the only print-on-demand company you've licensed your art with, or have you tried Zazzle? I've not used any others. I've only used Fine Art America. I've licensed my artwork with someone who does cross-stitching. I think it's Sunny's or Sunshine's cross-stitching. Sunny's, I don't know. Used her for years. She's got license to make prints of myself, too, but that's it. Patty Picasso said, my dad used to work in Dublin all week, and weekends he'd come home, shower
shower us with toys and stuff. I always got cool art stuff like giant Crayola box and then more fancy art supplies as I got older. That is awesome. I love when parents give their kids, like, I was so grateful my mom got me the pastels and such to play with. She always, I had some paint by numbers she had gotten me to try once. I mean, she always kept me full of supplies. Like, she wouldn't go out and buy the posters, but it's like, here's the supplies, and how grateful as an adult I am that she did that. Boards Farm Studio said there's Northern Lights video on someone's channel. Hint, hint. If I had time to go look that up, I absolutely would right now. Good to know, though, for if I ever decide to do, well, and I will, I would like to do some really pretty, like, actual Northern Lights with an airbrush and acrylics or oils. Oil paints work great for that. So that's it for the grass. Super easy, although this isn't sticking real well now. There we go. I would want that to fade out a little into the sunset anyway, so we'll just blend that a bit. And then we'll let that fade to dark as it comes forward. So see, that is like the easiest thing ever. Really, really basic. Did I ever find out from the manufacturers whether Pastel Matte can handle OMS? Yes, I did. I contacted first them in the US, and then they said they thought it would be fine as long as you used a small amount, but they forwarded again to Clairefontaine. I'm forgetting names, but the company overseas, and I don't even remember where they're based out of, but they said that yes, it is fine with OMS. They just stressed use a tiny amount because it'll damage the tooth or it'll damage the surface, and it doesn't damage. I don't think they've tried it themselves, so they definitely did not test for it. They said it would be fine, but to use a small amount. I played with it and I used tons and had no problems. So yes, OMS is absolutely fine. They confirmed that it's fine. They just said small amounts or it could damage the paper, like it would damage the integrity of the paper. I didn't have that. Not like long term, but as you're using it, like it would fall apart if you use too much. Did not experience that. I used a lot, no problems whatsoever. But you didn't need as much with that. That was the thing. You wanted to use, I used too much on accident a few times, and it would have been better for me to use less, but it didn't cause any damage, and they said it was fine. So good news for us colored pencil artists. That's the best paper ever. I'm pretty excited about that. And I need to order some big sheets of it for a project I have coming up. Words Farm Studio, or maybe I'll airbrush that background. I don't know, decisions. Said I'm welcome to use the Northern Lights photos from her channel for reference. Thank you, yay. I definitely need to do a painting with those sometime soon. Miriam said, could I sketch coral? Or I could sketch coral. I could. I don't have any reference photos of those pulled up right now either. Let me see what I want to do next. Wow, it's funny. These are showing up like super yellow over there, and they're not in person so much. Whatever. Wash that off my hands again. Mitchie Fine Art said, when you have alkyd, whatever, or liquid for painting, is it normal for them to get chunky? Sort of. If it starts to get chunky like liquid, if it gets those chunks in it, if you can mix it up and it smooths it back out, it's fine to use. Otherwise, you pick that out of your pile of liquid. Because I've had that happen. I know what you're talking about. Sometimes it's chunks that are completely dried that cause it to be thick. You don't want that in your painting. Just pick that out of your pile of liquid as you're painting. If it's just a chunk that you can kind of stir in and blend it out with everything else, then you're fine. That's fine to go straight on the canvas. Rachel said, can use the colored pencils next. These pastels are horrible. Yes, they are. Let's go ahead and play with the metallics. I don't know what I'm going to draw for that. I didn't pull up images. I wanted to do landscapes, but I was hoping that those would give me like more surface area for that to really work on. And they kind of don't. Those are going to be better for smaller sketches. So what should I sketch? Let's see if I've got anything. Let's pull my photos over here. I'm going to have a reference photo of something I can do. It has to be something super simple. I don't know. Give me suggestions of what you think I should sketch. Let's see. Pablo said, doesn't seem very pleased. What is it that I should never buy? Huh? Oh, the Royal Langnickel. Where's the package? Royal Langnickel Pastels, I would say never buy these. These are like painfully bad. You could probably spend a little bit more and get something that I would consider to be more suitable. But these are, if you were on sanded paper, it probably wouldn't be as big of a deal. But these on smooth paper, they've got these hard chunks in it. Like, almost like they got wet and dried weird. I don't like it. They are not my choice. Rachel said the pastels are horrible, not your art. Thank you. Baby Panda said, do you ever use a scanner for your smaller art pieces or do you always use a camera to have your prints made from? I find that the camera captures it better. The lighting, I found weird things with the scanner, and my scanner's not a good one. So there's that. If you had a good scanner, the scanner would probably be easier. But I found that I get better results, more consistent results to what the actual painting is normally if I scan it. If I take photos. Like graphite. I've had where the light from the scanner were highlighting areas and made the graphite look really grainy gritty. Didn't work real well. So yeah, the camera I've gotten better results from. And Jason said, forget him, bring out the pan pastels. Yeah, those are the best pastels. If you really want pastels, oh, I love those so much. Clary said, you should draw a goldfish next with metallic pencils. Done. I like it. I know I've got a photo of that somewhere. Let me find one. My mouse is lost. Oh, because I'm not using the right mouse for the right computer. That would explain it. Let me see. Where would I have a goldfish saved? Hold on one second. I have to look up because I've got to actually type it. I don't remember what file folder I have it under. Let me get a reference photo that I can use really quick. Okay. I didn't know where I saved that file because I don't organize stuff. That takes effort I'm not willing to put in. I would rather spend hours looking for things I've lost. I'm a pro. Is it weird to use my own painting as a reference? First thing I found. Okay. Let's put this guy to the side. Yeah, another 5-year-old drawing. Actually looks similar to what I was doing when I was 5. More paper. Forest Farm Studio said those metallic pencils might look great with corals. Yeah, corals just take so long to get the details. Unless I do super simple ones. Lisa, I had my first ever painting of a sea life school of fish from grade school. My mom matted and framed it for me. My parents have always encouraged me. That's awesome. That's how my mom was. I'm so grateful for that. Where did I put my tape? There it is. My mom's always been super encouraging with the art. Even when I decided that was what I wanted to do for a living, she didn't do the typical, well, you need a real job. I think she thought I was just going to work at the animal hospital for the rest of my life, so she was fine with that. But, no, she always super encouraged me. She never was like, that's not realistic. You're not, going to be able to make money doing that. Both my parents, my good dad, same thing, really encouraging. I was also lucky that my husband was never like, okay, I'm tired of paying all the bills. I need you to, because, when you start out as an artist, you're not making much. And he never complained either. Like, everyone in my family has been very, very supportive. My mother-in-law doesn't think it's a real job. That's as close as I've come to somebody who's not, she just doesn't understand. It's not like she's rude or anything. She just is like, you should get a job working in an office. Let's see. Whoops, I just scrolled too far. Let me see. Here we go. Baby Panda said, thank you, Lisa, for answering my questions. Thank you for asking them. I appreciate it. This would be really boring if you guys didn't ask questions. So I appreciate you guys. Jenny said, so glad you don't like these. I thought it was user error on my part. No, they're crap. They're absolute crap. Clarice said, I'm so excited. Yay. Miriam said, don't buy Royal Langnickel graphite sticks either. They must be made for students. Oh, good to know. I've never had anything from them except paintbrushes are okay. But I can't think of any painting or drawing materials I've used from them that I would ever buy again. Leslie said, the best pastel pencils I find are the Caran d'Ache and the Faber-Pastel. Both soft pencils and not as much dust as the blocks. That's good to know. Okay. Goldfish. Let's just play with the metallics. I'm going to put the pastels away for a bit. I do have gold or orange if I need it for the pastels, just in the pencils. But let's just play with the metallic because this is what I was most interested in this set anyway. Let's get these pastels out of here. Ugh. Actually, I'm going to wash my hands off really quick because I don't need those anymore. I don't think we'll be using those again tonight. Miriam said her husband has always been supportive too. That's so cool. Susanna said, draw a clownfish with a top hat. Oh, let's draw that next. I don't have orange, so he's going to be a weird colored clownfish. We can make that happen. I've got weird colors, but we could definitely do that. Okay. Coffee. Let's see. I don't know what color to make him. Let's start with this kind of magenta color. His little face, his little grumpy mouth, his other googly eye. There was a student I used to teach years ago back when I was in California. He was so funny. He was a realtor, and he'd always come in to class after work and dressed in a suit, like super nice. And he'd sit there painting ocean scenes, and you'd hear him go, "Here comes a 10-footer." And you couldn't see from where I was standing what he was doing, but he's animating or like narrating everything he's doing. It was hilarious. This guy in a super professional looking suit. And he's like, yeah, it was kind of funny. Me commenting on what I was drawing just reminded me of him. He was fun to have in class. Oh, I made your fin way too tall. Whatever. I don't have a pencil to really... Well, I wonder if this erases. Let's find out. Kinda. Not well. It smudges the paper. Wouldn't recommend. Whoops. That's going to have to be a bubble. Fat goldfish belly. Now, if I were trying to do something to make it like super accurate, super realistic, the way that I would start this is to kind of draw a dotted line. Like I want the eyes to come out this far. I want the body this far. I want whatever. I would mark that out to keep my perspective correct to start with. And I definitely would get better results that way. I'm going to exaggerate those eyes a bit. Pull that body up. Okay, we're going to start with that. That is going to be my goldfish. I don't know what colors to use. This is kind of fun. Let's try, that was the darker. Let's go blue for the top because that's a goldfish color. These are fun for being sketchy. I definitely like how these show up, that glowy. I would say this would be fun for card making. I don't know what paintings I would really do with this too much. I don't even know if I want to blend this out. I kind of like what it looks like better just with the, like it seems so much brighter just with a pencil without water. I think I might like the water better on white paper than I do. Actually, I should test that. I think I would like it better on white paper. Let's see. Dan wants to know how my studio assistants are. They are adorable and good and sleeping right now. They're being good dogs in their crate because when I have them out, if I tried to do a live stream with the dogs out, they would constantly, like instantly have need for something the whole time. One would need water. One would want to go to, even though they have water, one would need to go outside. Like, yeah, I used to leave them out. I learned that early on when I would podcast because as soon as I would start talking, they don't understand I'm talking to you guys. I don't know if they just think I'm talking to them, but they get all excited and they're like, okay, we're going outside now. And it's like, no, I need you to go lay down so I can work. So I had to start putting them in their crate for nap time while I live stream or podcast. But they are doing good. Health is good so far. Let's see. Whoops, that's just scrolled too far. Here we go. Rachel said, I've been asked to give private art lessons. How much should I charge per hour? Well, it depends on if you're going to do group or individual. For me, when I did individual, it was $50 for a 2-hour session. Some people will do 1 hour. The problem that I had with 1 hour is that it hardly gives you time to set up. By the time you get everything set up and they get going, it's time to go. Like everything's already done. So I definitely prefer doing art classes in 2-hour sessions. But I didn't encourage. By the time I used to do a lot of private lessons, and over the years I found it was financially just made more sense for everyone involved if I did group lessons. And I would limit them to 8 to 10 people per class, and only 8 to 10 people if it were people who had been with me for a while, where they didn't need so much one-on-one attention. If it was a lot of new people, I don't want to go more than 5 in a class. But With that, I used to do $20 per person per 2-hour class, and they needed to have their own supplies if it was a group class. But anything less, individual, then I was going to charge $50 per 2 hours. But that's what I did. I can't say that's the right thing for you or for your students. You've got to figure out what's going to be a fit for you. But that was the model I used. Well, that was the model I used before I stopped teaching in person. When I first started teaching, I started at Michael's back in 1998 or 99. And I was first charging $2 per student per 2-hour session. And they still needed their own supplies. But that was kind of ridiculous. Like, you're not going to make enough money to make it worth. I was teaching out of Laverne in California, the Michaels out there. That was a long drive for me. It wasn't near my house. And yeah, it was not practical at all. Eventually I started charging $5 per student per 2 hour, and then went up to 20. It just was not, it wasn't worth my time. I mean, it got to where I was going out there to make $5 or $6 or, depending on if it was a $2 or a $5 class, but don't sell yourself short to where you can't make enough to make it worth you continuing to do it. And then the other thing I find is, you can raise your price over time. Your current students get pretty angry if you raise the price on them. I found it was just easier to start at a fair price that you were comfortable with, and then stick to it. That worked out well for me. Better for me when I moved out here, I started at 20 when I moved to Texas. But when I was in California, or actually maybe it was 15 when I first started here, but every time I raised it, my current students weren't thrilled. Even though I wasn't charging enough. That's why I had to raise it. And then I also found too, watch your age group that you do, because parents found out it was a really cheap babysitter for $5 for 2 hours and dropped their kids off. They learned some art. I turned into a babysitter for a while before I put an age limit on that. That wasn't fun. Oh, look how bright that gets when you push harder. So these aren't super brittle. It's the pastels that were brittle. This is my original thing where I said these break in that pencil sharpener. I was 100% wrong. These, I don't actually, let's try. Oh, this is blocked again. Let me unclog this, because as I sharpen, I'm going to try out the Derwent one and see if this is suitable. This still wouldn't be a pencil sharpener I would choose. It's just weird being that it's red. You can't really see how full it is. It doesn't hold a whole lot. You have to pull the cap off to empty it. Where's the empty thing? And it doesn't want to come out. Why are you being so... This is not worth fighting over. Yeah, I'm going to go back with I would not purchase this sharpener. It's a weird... I don't know. Maybe it's suitable for some people. Would not be my preference. Let's see if I can unclog it. There we go. So that was the pastel that clogged it. I am going to try it, though, to see if it's... I doubt these pencils are going to break in it. They seem to be pretty suitable or stable. And if you use this, hold your hand on your fingers here and on the other side to hold this stable, because if you hold like this, it's wiggly and you're going to be more likely to break the lead. So you, especially if you're going to use this on a colored pencil, like that, you want your sharpener to be stable. So to keep it stable on this one, you're going to need to hold the two red things to hold that part, because it wants to slide around in the black. Weird design. Again, not one I'm going to say I would run out and buy. I definitely prefer my little Coom, the little handheld metal ones. Easier to unclog, that's for sure. What other colors can I throw in here for him? Well, let's give him some bubbles. I don't know what my lightest color is. All these, the values are all pretty similar here, so my bubbles are probably not going to be super... Yeah, these are not going to create good bubbles. Whatever. We're going to pretend. I'm going to tell you it's a bubble so you know it's a bubble instead of drawing what looks like a bubble, because, yeah. That's how you know I'm a pro. I have to tell you what something is because you can't tell by looking at it. I mean, they're circles. Looks like a neon fish. He's kind of cute. Let's try Clownfish. See if I have any reference photos of Clownfish that I can easily access. That old computer. I clicked on a file and now we're going to wait for 5 minutes, I'm sure. Let's go ahead and get another piece of paper out. I can't really do much with this as far as like shading. Everything, at least in this color set, they're all, I guess that adds highlights. But I mean, the colors besides this one, the values are all pretty much the same. So you're not getting a lot of variation as far as your lights and darks. You would have to let the black of the paper show through where you wanted shadows and just account for that. This is fun. I'm adding lines just because they're fun, not because it looks good. This grumpy first. I mean, it's a fish. Let's see. Paige said, have you ever had a problem with Inktense blocks being scratchy? I have a white, not laying down smooth, and it's leaving marks on my paper. I never, one less nevers. So there's one exception to that, but I almost never use the block directly on the paper. So I don't have a problem with them being scratchy because I use them as watercolor pans, basically, where I would take a brush, like a brush like this, and add it, like if this is my Inktense block, I'm going to rub the wet brush on top of it to make an ink mixture. If you watch any of my older videos, you'll see the flamingo one. I know I showed you how to do that, but I found when I take the block and go straight on the paper, it comes out super grainy and gritty. There's no way to avoid it. It doesn't blend out all the way. So I make that ink mixture and then paint it onto the canvas where I want. And that's what I get my smooth canvas look with. So it is possible I don't doubt at all that you're getting the scratchiness. It's just that for me, it's never affected me because I don't use them in that way. The only time that I apply the Inktense block directly to the paper is if I'm trying to get a rougher sketch. So let's say I was doing a tree or a bush and I needed it to be a little bit rough or scratchy there. When I've done a coral reef, I needed something to be a little bit rough and bumpy looking so it looked like the coral, and I did use it at that point, but I already had so much pigment on the paper at that point. The paper was really, really smooth. I don't know if that made a difference. I've not had it be scratchy, but I hardly ever apply the block straight to the paper. So if you're making the ink mixture, you won't have that problem at all. I don't like it for straight on the paper. Thanks, Dan. Dan said, love your artwork and videos. Thank you so much. Let's see. Scrolling, where was the next? How about a mermaid? That's human figure stuff, and I don't have that in front of me. I don't have reference photos of like a body in the right shape, and I can't draw from my mind like my husband does. I think he's a cheater, but so that probably will not happen tonight. Is it my nephew that loves art? Maybe he needs those Royal Langnickel pastels. I think my sister would kill me if I sent these to him because of the mess that they make. I don't think she would be happy with this art supply. Rachel said, thank you. I was thinking minimum 2 hours for $20. It's a small group and mostly homeschooling kids all over the age of 12. Oh, you're perfect. And 12 was once I had done enough lessons, I realized 12 was pretty much when the kids, that's the age where stuff starts making sense to them with art. I didn't find it made a difference if the student had been with me from the time they were 8. And then at 12, like that once they hit 12, that is just when, and I don't mean like on their birthday, somebody's going to go like, what's magical about that number? It's just once you hit about that age, they started to understand stuff. Or a student who started at 12, they both were on equal footing, like the equal, other than the one that had been with me longer would know certain terms. But as far as skill level, I had no problem with 12-year-olds. That's just, I had some doing photorealistic stuff at 12. Not all of them were quite to that skilled. But I remember this one girl doing a rose, and it was just like, holy crap, I cannot believe you're 12. But that is a really good age group. Okay, so there was number 3. Let's make number 4 a clownfish if I can find a reference photo somewhere. Oh, look, my computer is freaking out at me. Really? What are you doing? Give me just a second to... Nope, that doesn't have it. I used to have a file. Maybe I moved it. I was moving stuff around for the new computer onto my external hard drive, and I don't know. I guess you could work. I mean, technically that's a clownfish. It's a weird angle. That's a terrible angle. Hold on, I'll find another photo. We'll do a clownfish after I just have to find where I put that file folder. Let's get this taped first. A Brush with Travel said, I was able to raise my price for art lessons by adding a half hour of time. They felt they were getting real value for the raised price. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. I couldn't, because I always did my class right after, I think it was working at the animal hospital first when I started teaching, and I would go straight from work there, so I couldn't add extra time, and I went because it was later, right up until they closed. Although I guess I could have before or later on. That's a good idea. That is very genius. Miriam said, I like the neon goldfish. Thank you. Blue Tea Art said, my plan is to sell my art at a flea market. Have any advice for me? If not, then what would you do? Don't take it personally when it doesn't sell. People that go to those things, they usually don't want to pay more than $20 for anything. And it's not practical for us to sell our art for that much. You might get a sale here and there. And like, let's say you get a sale. Don't think it's going to be like that every day or every time you go. That sort of event, most of the time they don't want to pay much. So prints, postcards, that sort of thing usually will do a little bit better at something like that. But if you go do something like that, a lot of artists will get involved in different shows like that and be discouraged and think, oh, my work sucks. No one wants it. That's just the nature of that type of show or event. I wouldn't even call it a show. They typically don't, they're not going to spend what your work would cost, because when you go to those, a lot of times you have the people who are selling the cheap stuff that's like mass produced in China, and they can get this huge painting for $20 or sometimes $100. I don't know. They have different prices. They're not going to spend hundreds of dollars from you who's putting more time into it on something small, because they look at that and go, well, why can't I just, they don't understand the difference at those things. So yeah, just don't take it personally and be discouraged if you're not getting the sales that you're hoping for. Same with like craft fairs, same thing. PZ Cherokee said, hey Lisa, I had an idea today. You should redo one of your worst pieces and show in the beginning and intermediate artists how far they could go with practice. I did. It wasn't my worst, but it was one of my first. I did that actually, and I want to do some more. There are definitely a few more that I want. I'm looking around thinking if any of these ones aren't that old. I definitely want to redo some of those. One was a whale. It was an old, like the one that I did. I was I think 17 at the time, 17 or 18 when I painted that, and then I painted it again like in 2014, right around there. I don't remember what year it was. So yeah, that was from 95, like 20 years later. Big difference in that one. And I have that video here. It's an orca painting, or I mean, it's on YouTube. But I want to do more like that. Ford's first well, I can't talk said, you're going to try to blend with water on white paper this time. Oh, not this time, but I did want to try that in general. Let's do that real quick. Let's just see what happens. I want to see if it's as chalky looking as it is on the black when water is added. Oh no, that's not chalky at all. That is gorgeous. Oh, and it's purple too, which I've been trying to get tonight. Oh, that's not chalky at all. We'll see what it looks like as it dries. While it dries, I'm going to grab a reference photo of a clownfish really quick. Be right back. Oh, I can't see that over here. Hold on. Okay, here's a cute little guy I can use. Let's see, we have a question. Boz Art said, what camera are you using to film right now? What camera would you suggest for recording YouTube videos? So this is a webcam. This one it's listed in the description. I don't know what things are called, but I wouldn't use this for normal YouTube videos. It's just for live streaming. It's actually kind of crappy. It's expensive. I think I paid $175 for that. And if you spent that same amount on a normal camcorder, like an actual camera that you put an SD card in and record that way, that is going to give you way better quality, like so much better than a webcam. This one, just because of, I don't know, tech science, it's not as good for the same price. So yeah, that is, I need to play around with, though, now that I've got the better computer or laptop for the live streams, it's possible the GoPro may work. And that it gets it's a higher resolution. I just don't know. Last time I tried it, it caused my other computer to crash. So, but it was an older computer. So now with a newer one, I'll have to try that. But I would not recommend the webcams for your normal recording, just for live streams. For normal recording, if you look at any of my videos, you can see which one I'm using, but you don't need to go that expensive. You could get a camera for, $200 that's good, that will work fine for recording your YouTube videos in that price range. Okay. So yeah, it's drying, not super chalky looking. That's pretty. That's actually really pretty. You can see a little bit of that shimmer. It's not super strong. The shimmer shows up more on the black paper, but this has more, it's not as like cloudy looking as what I was getting on the black paper. Okay, so let's sketch in a little clownfish. Let's see, we'll go make his tail over here. I'm just kind of lining approximately what size he's going to be before I commit to my heavier lines. His little side fins and these guys back here. Okay, that gives me my general body shape. Now, I don't know what color I should do for his white lines. It's not a song. It's not an appropriate song. Don't listen to that song, children. I'll make the white lines this greenish color for no apparent reason. This is kind of weird, though. The green color, it looks more like a green, like a warmer green. It's more of a teal color, really. And you can see the lead doesn't match the back. That's one thing with Derwent. I love Derwent, but their colors, it's pretty common for the color of the pencil not to match super close to the end on certain brands, which apparently is the case in this one. He is a basic clown. He's not all kinds of crazy colors. Oh, look, now he can see. Maybe I should have put the eye last so he couldn't see what I was doing to him. Poor guy. I may try blending part of this with water and we'll see what happens. These go down really smooth. They feel nice on the paper. I like these. I need to see. I think, actually, I do. I need to check. I may have the blocks of these metallic ones that are like the big blocks, not pencils. Why am I vaguely remembering that now? I have so many art supplies in my art supply dresser, I guess, that I don't use often enough. I need to check that. We'll shade that with purple on the bottom. It doesn't really layer that well. It doesn't want to stick on top of itself, at least not on this paper. And what color should his body be? Let's go with magenta again. These certainly don't break easy. I'm giving it a bit more pressure, just kind of testing them. They seem like they can handle it pretty well. I'm glad my clownfish don't look like this. I'd pay extra for them not to look like this. Let's see. Amber said, I have 3 kids, 5, 3, and 1-year-old. I find it very hard to do my art, but I'm thankful they're asleep so I can watch you tonight. You're awesome. Thank you. Yeah, you are busy. You don't sleep much, do you? I can't imagine with little ones that young. PZ Cherokee said, I know you've answered this 40 million times, but what is the best tool to make an area totally white over colored pencil? Because the white pencils are not very opaque. So my favorite is a product that's from brushandpencil.com, although Dick Blick, I think, carries it now. You can get it from Delta Art in Canada. Trying to think who it is in the UK. I can't remember off the top of my head for some reason right now, but it's Brush and Pencil, their touch-up texture titanium white mixture. And I have a video here on YouTube. If you go to my front page, it should be on there showing you how to make white lines in colored pencil. And you mix these two products together and it makes almost like a paint that you can paint. It's totally archival with colored pencils, unlike using like acrylic or gel pen. And you can make everything super white. And then you can even, when it dries, put colored pencil on top of it. So if you just wanted a white base, like let's say I had this dark black area and I wanted it to be yellow. I could put the white first, let it dry, and then if I put yellow on top, now it'll stay yellow. Whereas if you put yellow on black, you get this greenish tone. So that is the product that I recommend them like that. I use it on every colored pencil piece. Wow, that brush wasn't in the right place. It just went flying. Okay, let's see what happens with this one. I'm making a mess. This is, seriously, these are so fun to just play with. Yeah, out of this box, definitely these two. I wish that there were more colors. I would have rather had more metallic. And I don't even know, Derwent may not make many colors with the metallic. If you guys know, let me know. I would like to see more of these and not the pastels. Although these, I wouldn't have really easily been able to do the landscape. Would have been a bit more time consuming to try with those. That blends okay. I'm super curious now if I have the metallic, if those came in block form. I know I've got the block form of the graphite tint. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Let's see. Thanks, Christine. Miriam said, how are your fish doing? Is your snail still escaping? Yes, I found him inside my kitchen sink last night. He is so lucky I did not use chemicals on that sink. Yeah, he's still alive. He's suicidal, apparently. So every time I walk in the kitchen, I'm still having to check. Right now, the lid, normally if I'm home, I leave the lid off the tank, and the lid is on, and he's still getting out. I don't know. He's magical. But yes, he is quite the escape artist. So going in my kitchen is always a little nerve-wracking because I'm like cringing, like I don't want to step on a snail or find him dead and dried up somewhere. I keep trying different things to keep him in. I've got 2 lids on the tank right now and he's still 2 lids, 2 butter knives to weigh it down and a rock. And he's still managing. I don't know how he's strong enough to push those out of the way, but he's doing it. So I gave him a green bean before I started to try to keep him busy. Well, hopefully he'll keep himself busy eating. So before the live stream's over, I'm hoping he won't be back in my sink. Sounds kind of gross. Snail where my dishes go. But yeah, my fish, everybody else is good. I don't know if Kyle's here tonight because I'm not paying attention to anything, but he ordered me he works at the fish store that I go to, a Mandarin goby, a little baby one. So if he comes in looking healthy, I think I'll use my tank as kind of a grout tank while he's a baby. And by the time he's big enough that he needs a bigger tank, I should have moved and have a big tank for him and he can go in the big one. That is the plan. Kind of excited. And that way, being that my tank is small, I can keep an eye on him and make sure he's eating because that's kind of the challenge with those ones. But it's a captive bred one, so they're used to eating frozen foods. I'm really excited. You guys have seen me paint the Mandarin. I say Mandarin goby. It's technically not a goby, and Mandarin dragonette would be a proper name. But the babies are tiny, tiny, so he'd be the right size for my tank now to make sure that he's eating until he gets put into a big tank. So hopefully that all works out well. We'll see. Patty Picasso said that song's in my head now. You're welcome. Pablo said, hey, Lisa, I'm really enjoying all these small drawings in the stream. Did you have a chance to check out the Derwent Light Fast Color Chart? I haven't. I have been so busy this week. I'm behind on everything. Like, my new computer came on Tuesday, and I still haven't set it up. And you'd think that'd be the first, like, I must do right now. I've been so busy. My parents were here last week. So, and then we went house hunting, and it's a Yes, I have not done a whole lot of work, unfortunately. The painted, I need to though. The painted hairbrush said, I know this is off topic, but I've been wondering. I have been in love with your hair and seeing it evolve from your earlier videos. What is your inspiration? I'm a hairstylist. Well, I was growing out this back here is my natural color. So I've just been growing it out so that when I eventually end up with white hair, it'll be like a nicer transition than when I was dyeing it black. But I'm really looking forward to white hair. I was hoping by going natural now it would happen sooner. I don't know. For all of you older ladies who already have white and gray, super jealous of you. Just so you know, this needs to dry. Let's give him some bubbles while that dries. So yeah, that's all that was. It's just, it was black for a long time and I didn't want to dye it anymore. It was so much work because I had to do it every 2 weeks to keep my roots because my roots being blonde, when my black would grow out, it looked like I had a bald spot on my part. So I had to do it every 2 weeks and I just didn't want to do it. And then I knew, once it starts to turn white up against black, it's going to look ridiculous. So that is where that came from or how that started. So the changing colors from the black to this was just growing out the damage when I did the hair removal. But I'm considering getting rid of the bleached part, or at least half of the bleached part for sure I'm going to get rid of in the front. I've just been too lazy to do it. And by lazy, I mean I've had no time. Let's see. Nick said, how do you store all of your video files on an external hard drive? I have a 4 terabyte now that's about halfway full. I think I'm about ready to order a new one because I just moved everything off this computer onto that. But I don't even, I know what I'm going to do. Okay, I have plans. There are plans. So yeah, I just store it on the external. That seems to be the best fit for me. And I'm hoping now with the new computer, the transfer from what I do while I'm editing, it's on my main hard drive. And then once the file's edited, I save all of that to an external hard drive. So I'm not taking up all the space on my computer. But while editing, I find that the computer obviously handles it when it's not having to transfer from an external. It's just on the main computer. But that's been working out really well for me because easy enough to upgrade when you fill it versus trying to fill constantly your main computer. Brent says, Derwent has 12 metallic colored pencils the last time I checked. I need them. I need to contact them because these are fun. I'm thinking more for like sketchbook stuff. I wouldn't use them for something, that I'm going to sell or that I'm taking super seriously, but they're just fun. That is still wet. I need that to dry. Okay. What else can I do on this while this dries? Because I can do something around the edge. Why? I don't know, because I have time. We'll put blue where the black edges would be on the fins and in between the colors. These are they feel very soft to work with. I'm really impressed with just they're comfortable to draw with. Like they feel not like a pastel. Those feel scratchy to me, but they feel kind of like a soft, like maybe Prismacolor colored pencil without the breaking, like a soft, for laying down. And I don't know that I would try something. I'm sure I could do something super, fairly realistic with them. But I think if I were to buy these, I would want to use them more just to play with for sketchbook stuff. And while they're metallic, it's not super obvious that they have the metallic look. It's pretty subtle. But it is definitely hard to control values because everything I have is mid-range. That one yellowy green color is kind of bright, but for the most part, with all of these being mid-range, I can't do anything super amazing with contrast unless I did enough planning that I could let the paper show through for my contrast. Let's see. Kathy said she has the 12 set of metallic pencils from Derwent. Miriam said, I want to get the 72 Derwent Inktense. Just always needed more, and it comes with your great heart. Thanks. Those are fun. I'm really looking forward to using them Saturday. Pat said, Derwent has a set of 72 pencils on Amazon. Which set? These? Baby Panda said you should set up one of your webcams to record your snail tank so you can see how he's getting out. Oh, look at you using common sense. That's actually a really good idea. I am going to have to do that. I didn't think he would keep trying as hard as he is. Like, he is just determined. I wasn't expecting that, but that is a really good idea. Maybe I'll do that for tomorrow. Yeah, because I don't know if he's, there's a little gap in the back where the plants have to have room in the cord for the heater, but I thought I had it blocked off and not enough. Maybe that's it. Oh, thank you. That is, you are smarter than me. I didn't even think about that. With all these cameras, I have my GoPro would be perfect for the time lapse of that, and it didn't even cross my mind. Miriam said, who knew snails would be so strong? Yeah, this one is. Amber said, I'm actually surprised that snail, by the way, fell off my counter. I'm assuming he didn't manage to climb all the way down. Most of the time when they're climbing on large areas, like in tanks, they fall quite often. Maybe he climbed all the way down. I don't know. But find him in the middle of my kitchen floor and he didn't break when he hit. I would have thought his shell would break when he hit. Suicidal snail. Back to Amber said, I just recently got back into making art after being off 10 years for various reasons. What should I do first to get myself and my work known? Social media, post regularly, and make sure you're using proper hashtags for your stuff. That will make a big difference for people finding you, especially on Instagram is really good. YouTube has been the best for me to have people find me just the way, I don't know if it's just their algorithm, I'm not sure what it is, but YouTube has absolutely been wonderful. So that's a really good way to share your stuff and get your name out there. But yeah, social media is really good. And I think getting in groups or doing collaborations if you can too. Like for me, I've done the collaboration with Title Gardens where he'll share once I have the video drawing his coral. Once that's public, he'll be able to share it on his social media. Now I've got all of those people who buy corals can now see that I sell artwork of corals. That's a great collaboration. And then I'm helping him by showing you guys the great photos that are available. And that's, by the way, quick plug, Title Gardens. They are here on YouTube, or you can find them on Facebook. Same thing, Title Gardens, wherever. And they have a channel teaching you how to take care of your fish, but they also sell corals. And he takes these amazing macro photos of the coral. So a coral this big is this huge file, all the detail you see. They're so amazing. But it's such a good collaboration because you guys are going to be interested in the photos. His people who buy corals would be interested in artwork. So that's a good, like if you can find collaborations like that, that's a really good way for you to get in, go. When I started with pet portraits, I have Italian Greyhounds that I show. And so I was in groups for show dogs. So I could share like forums and such at the time. I could share the paintings I had done of my dogs and then people would contact me to paint. I mean, things like that helped people to learn who I was. But if you can do that sort of a collaboration too, that really helps. I wish I had something dark to like really add shadows here. None of these are. Yeah, there's no way for me to shade this and get any kind of depth. It's just going to look cartoony no matter what I do with this. So this would be fun with drawing, little, well, these aren't good for calligraphy, but. So it works really well. Like if I wanted to make a little sign, these would be pretty cool. But at least with these colors, they're all the same value. Like there's no, I don't have any darks. I can't make anything darker or brighter. It's all the same. So no matter what I do, well, especially in this case with these colors, it's going to look super, super cartoony. Definitely limited as far as that goes, but this is still pretty fun. I don't know. Make random little teal random ribbon in the back. I don't know. There's no way for me to make this look realistic with these colors on this paper. And by no way, I mean with what I've got here. I can't like adjust or change anything else. Now, again, if I had planned this out from the beginning, I could have let the black of the paper be my values and just, you could have done cross hatching, pointillism. There are a few things that you could do to let the black show enough that like here, you can see my scribble lines. I've got dark in there. If I let the black show on dark areas of the fish more, I could have accounted for the fact that these are all even. So when I say there's no way, I don't mean there's no, I could. If you give me a few hours, I could have really focused on that and been careful and kept all of those. That's not where that goes. Kept all of this super clean, but it's not going to be a practical way to go. So these are, I think that one, or one of my first ones, that one actually was probably my favorite. That one I think I like the best. He was fun. This was just fun. That would be, I really like the idea. I want to get a black sketchbook. I'm sure they've got to have them somewhere. I don't have, that's one sketchbook I don't think I have, but a black sketchbook would be fun to do just little things like this. Little quickie, like here's a 10-minute project, I'm not going to spend any more than 5 or 10 minutes. Those would be definitely a fun way to go with those. But yeah, those pastels, I would never purchase and don't recommend anyone purchasing. This pencil sharpener, kind of neat. I like the idea. The sharpener itself inside is fine. It sharpens it at a pretty fine point, this Derwent one. So I don't want to say I would never use it or never buy it. I wouldn't use it for colored pencils. It has some design things that make it just a little bit weird, like the fact that you've got to make sure you're holding it here to make sure that this is stable as you're sharpening it. Otherwise, you're going to break the tip off your pencils. The eraser is, I would say this is more for like a kid's, like my nephew. I may give this to my nephew. This would be perfect. I'm definitely giving this to my nephew. I will keep that to the side. So, I mean, it's not that it doesn't have a purpose. I don't think it's the best fit for professional artists. I would rather, if I'm going to do a handheld one, these little guys, little comb sharpeners, work just fine. Sometimes you get a bad one, but they're only a couple of dollars. If I want an eraser, I usually use a gum eraser or a kneaded eraser is my favorite. So this type of eraser I don't really like. It tends to leave weird smudgy marks. I'm not a huge fan, so that I think, like I said, my nephew would be fine with. And that sharpener, although that sharpener might frustrate him if things are breaking in it. Maybe I shouldn't give it to him. He has Asperger's, so he can get frustrated sometimes a little bit easily. We want to avoid that. Maybe that's not the best sharpener for him in that case. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But for kids, that may be, so I think for graphite pencils for kids would be good. Let's see. Shaz said, you should buy a $20 YZ camera. It will show your snail and record how he's getting out. It has an app for your phone. Amazing cameras. Check them out. I actually have, it's not a YZ. I got a different one before I knew about that brand, because that brand's actually a little bit cheaper than the one I got. It's just like a $50 security cam that I have on my saltwater tank just to be able to watch them. But I think I'm just going to put a time-lapse, the camera on my GoPro. I'm going to set it up there because of the way that the wide lens is. It should cover everything. So I think I'm going to set that up tomorrow and we'll see if he gets out. But that's a good suggestion too. That would work. And I've heard good things about that brand, the YZ one you're talking about, which I'm probably saying wrong. I've heard like a lot of people with fish love that camera. I think it has better results than my more expensive one. At least from what I've seen, the screenshots people posted. Let's see. He knows once he gets to the sink, he'll get a green bean. Maybe, or he thinks he will. How big is this snail? It's about that. He's a good size. He's not a small snail. Let's see. Yeah, the unedited files take up so much space. What I do, I have usually 10 or 12 videos of unedited files that I keep in one. It's partitioned the way my hard drive was. I don't know. My husband set it up weird he had built this computer that I have. The new one won't be that way. But I have one area that all my unedited stuff goes. Once the video is edited, the final version goes over to my external hard drive and I delete the unedited clips. I don't save all those. Yeah, Nick said he thought the snail would be concussed from falling that far. Yeah, I don't know why that snail's, I don't know how he managed. Rachel said, I'm concerned for your snail. Have you asked him how many fingers you're holding up just to make sure he doesn't have a concussion? Yeah, he didn't answer. He never answers me. He's kind of snooty. Pat said, for shadows, why not combine the Derwent with regular watercolor pencils? Absolutely could. That's the thing. These could be used in combination, like you're saying there. These could be used in combination with one of your other pencils, like the Derwent watercolor, like you're saying. I'm just too lazy to go get them. They're over there. I'm over here. Very lazy. So we're already 10 anyway. We're going to stop. But so yeah, you could use these in combination. They may be really, really fun for that. Your artwork's bad when you have to label it so people know what it is. Let's see. If you're new here and you have never seen my work before, please check out my other videos. The quality is different. It's there. I normally do more realism and photorealism. So tonight was just very different than my normal work. Please don't think this is all I typically produce. Let's see. If I find a great black sketchbook, let you guys know. I will definitely do that. Thought about making one from Canson Me10's pastel pad. The problem with the Me10's, why I wouldn't want that as a sketchbook, is when I want to use, typically I wouldn't be using water-soluble media on those, so maybe that would work. That's not a bad idea. Never mind, change my mind. I think you're right. Jennifer said, Derwent extra large graphite blocks. They're super fun, but no red or yellow colors. Any thought about mixing watercolor or Inktense with them to get a better range? You definitely can. When I've used them, I just plan artwork. Like I did the hippopotamus. I just plan my artwork around the colors, like the project I was going to do around the colors available, because I just wanted to use those. But yeah, you can do most of the Derwent products. You can mix media. You want to watch, like you wouldn't want to use a wax or oil-based colored pencil underneath a water base. So you wouldn't put that down and then put like a watercolor pencil on top. You could put the watercolor pencil first and put the colored pencil on top of that. You just want to make sure you're doing it in the right order. But a lot of these water soluble pencils from Derwent, these ones that have their water soluble graphite, all of these work great as far as making mixed media projects. Whoops, that scrolled too far. Kansan has a black drawing pad in their extra large or XL line. Ooh, I may need to look into that. Shadow says, yeah, they're much better quality than the cheap cameras and get rave industry reviews. Okay. Well, we'll get to your gouache video soon. Just got some. Oh, nice. Those are fun. Actually, I liked the gouache that I got in the water. I mean, they're not going to be light fast, but the ones that I got in that I used last week on the Smart Art box, those were really, really fun to paint with. I want to do more, like something more realistic. I was just playing with them, for sure. Those I did enjoy. So yeah, that is tonight. We got through quite a few. Yes, I'm going to say that's my favorite. I don't know. There's just something about those colors that makes me happy. I love lime green. Like in the spring when everything's just blooming and everything's kind of lime green. Love that. Dust, just from putting that down, dust is just like flying all over the place. Okay, I need to go clean this up and put together the other computer so I can start editing. Oh, wait. Another question from PC Cherokee. Do you have a video where you're using water-soluble graphite? I have lots of them. Yeah, just look up Lachri and water-soluble graphite, and it should come up. My favorite are the Faber-Castell, what are they? The Aquarelle. Aquarelle, am I saying that right? Those ones I really like. But thanks for joining. Please check out our moderators' channels. Links are in the video description. Nick has an art channel. Joseph has an art channel. Both great. I don't think we've got Kyle here tonight. So he's got an aquarium channel if you're interested in that. But he's not been helping tonight, so you don't have to thank him today. But definitely head over to Nick and Joseph's channel. Say thank you. They help so much. Could not do this without them. And yeah, thanks for joining me in my chalkboard style art. Let's just put this one here because this one is just so much nicer. I'm just going to hold that because I don't want the last thing people to see is my cartoon weird. I actually grabbed a reference photo to draw that. I didn't need a reference photo for that. That's kind of, this is hilarious. But yeah, we'll pretend this is all I did tonight. Yeah, thanks again for joining, and I will see you guys next week. Hopefully with something, I'll probably, trying to think what next week's going to be. I kind of want to do a digital live stream, a digital painting, something very like photorealism with digital painting. So we may do that next week. I will see you guys next week. And yeah, thanks for joining. Now the awkwardness of me trying to find where to turn the live stream off. Bye.